Hi there. Welcome to another edition of Jamaica Magazine. I am Adrian Atkinson. In today's show, major infrastructure work taking place in the Kingston and St. Andrew corporate area, plus protecting the population from diseases through immunization. Later, see how residents of bauxite communities are benefiting from the land after mining stops. Sit back and relax for these and more to come as we turn the pages of Jamaica Magazine.
On our roads, remember, take time, be courteous, drive good, walk good. Don't drink alcohol and drive. Don't drive tired or sleepy. Don't tailgate and don't overtake unless it is safe to do so. And always drive at a speed which will allow you time to stop quickly and safely. Let's keep it safe on our roads.
Barbican Road is one of 5 major thoroughfares in Kingston and St. Andrew, which will be improved under the Major Infrastructure Development Project, MIDP, during this fiscal year. Preliminary work has started and we have an update in this feature.
The community of Barbican forms what is referred to as the Golden Triangle, situated in the lush environs of the St. Andrew Plateau. The community has over the years seen major residential and business developments, leading to an increase in vehicular traffic. Severe congestion has become the norm, resulting in loss of critical production hours for many commuters. The Barbican Corridor is one of the main arteries in the road network in this area, and as such is one of several roadways in the corporate area selected for major improvement work.
It is part of the bigger plan to improve traffic flow throughout the corporate area and to reduce congestion in several areas.
The National Works Agency, NWA, has embarked on the project to transform the roadway from 2 lanes to a 4-lane carriageway. Therefore, commuters traveling from areas such as Russell Heights, Graham Heights and Jacks Hill using this corridor to connect with other arterial roads will eventually enjoy smooth traffic flow.
This project is going to be done or is being done as part of the Major Infrastructure Development Program, which is that program valued at well over $300 million that we are implementing the GOJ along with the Chinese through the China Exim Bank.
A critical first step to facilitate construction of the additional lanes is the acquisition of properties. The process, which has already started, is being done through the Land Acquisition Act. The legislation makes provision for land acquisition for public purposes such as road construction. This authority is vested in the Commissioner of Lands, who has the power to acquire land either by private treaty or compulsory acquisition. Following the land acquisitions, the corridor between Russell Heights and Jacks Hill Road will be widened.
We have had to acquire some areas and we are seeking to acquire some others. We are looking at some 27 parcels of land that will be acquired as part of this widening process.
This first phase in the road construction process is being done in tandem with the construction of new boundary walls, which represent the limits of the project.
A significant number does involve the relocation of boundaries, and this is just one of them that we're here doing along the stretch. In a couple of instances, we'll have to acquire buildings, so buildings will be demolished, boundary walls, setback, where it is that there are buildings to demolish, we would have demolished those so that we would be in a position to hand over the area to the contractor for the civil works to commence.
The work to be done also involves realigning the Barbican Road and East Kings House Road intersection to form a major T-junction, which will be signalized for better traffic movement. The junction at Birdsucker Lane and Barbican Road will also be outfitted with traffic lights.
What obtains now is that persons have to be pushing and boring and really putting themselves at risk sometimes to get onto the main road, which is Barbican Road. There are going to be sidewalks. It's going to be 4 lanes, much the same way we have had 4 lanes in other areas of the corporate area. Where it is that a median is required, we are going to be putting those so that we don't have conflicting movements in vehicles using this particular stretch.
The over 1 kilometer stretch of road improvement along Barbican Road is projected to be completed in about 4 months, after all the land acquisition is done and the project is handed over to the contractors.
While the project is ongoing, you know, we advise persons to exercise caution. There are going to be some teething pains, there are going to be some amount of difficulties or challenges while the project is ongoing, but it will be for a greater good. And so we are going to be asking them to work with us and as we work to complete what we hope to be a very successful project. Once the project is finished, what persons will see or should experience is a vast improvement in travel through this particular area, and from areas such as Russell Heights, Birthsuckle Avenue, Jacks Hill Road, and East Kings House Road generally. So the entire area will be enhanced insofar as traffic management, congestion management is concerned.
Parents, make sure the children get immunized. Hear this! Immunization, it is a must. This is not a joke thing, this you can trust. It is required by law for entry to nursery, to daycare and to schools. Listen up, it is necessary to prevent diseases such as the measles, the poliomyelitis, the lockjaw and the whooping cough. Immunize your kids, keep them healthy, keep them strong. Prevent deadly diseases such as mumps, rubella and diphtheria. Immunize your child today. Immunization, a key to good health.
A message from the Ministry of Health and PAHO.
Jamaica has successfully eliminated a number of diseases that once posed a serious public health threat to the population. The achievement is attributed to a regimental system of immunization that provides free vaccines for all children. We'll find out how you can ensure your family is protected in this next feature.
Immunization is arguably one of the most cost-effective healthcare interventions ever invented. Since the first successful vaccine was developed to treat smallpox in 1796, vaccination has been preventing illnesses and deaths for millions of people around the world. According to the World Health Organization, about 2 to 3 million deaths are prevented each year because of persons taking up vaccines or being immunized. Through vaccination, smallpox was declared eradicated from the world in 1980, and that's a significant achievement. Other diseases are on the verge of being eradicated through the process of immunization here in Jamaica.
Immunization has led to a substantial reduction of illnesses and death from diseases such as polio, measles, whooping cough, and newborn tetanus. Measles deaths have decreased by almost 80% over the past 10 years, which again is a significant achievement.
Jamaica's immunization program has managed to eliminate a number of vaccine-preventable diseases over the years. These include polio, which usually left children paralyzed.
Jamaica had the last case, for example, of polio in 1982. The last case of locally transmitted measles in 1991, the last case of diphtheria in 1995, the last case of rubella in 2000, and the last case of newborn tetanus in 2001.
In 2011, the country recorded 100% immunization coverage for BCG or tuberculosis. Thanks to the expanded Program on Immunization (EPI), which began in 1976, the population coverage against vaccine-preventable diseases remains relatively high. Under the program, immunization coverage for children under 2 years old reached 93 to 94% in 2010-2011. The expanded Program on Immunization provides free vaccination to children ages 0 to 7 during the routine immunization schedule of the Ministry of Health. This is an integral strategy to reduce child mortality and morbidity.
First, we give at birth up to 6 weeks of age BCG vaccine, which is given usually in the hospital setting, and BCG protects against tuberculosis. At 6 weeks, 3 months, and 6 months, babies are due a vaccine against polio, which prevents poliomyelitis, as well as the pentavalent vaccine or the 5-in-1 vaccine.
Then at 12 months of age, the MMR vaccine is administered to protect children against measles, mumps, and rubella.
At 18 months, we give the first set of booster vaccines, and we give boosters again for MMR. The children get DPT as well, which is for diphtheria, pertussis, and tetanus. And then they also get the polio vaccine at that time as well.
Between the ages of 4 to 6 years, children must get a second booster vaccine for DPT as well as a second booster vaccine for polio.
A lot of these vaccine-preventable diseases are actually quite contagious and can cause death, especially among our young children. And so therefore, I would encourage parents to ensure that their children are appropriately vaccinated.
In Jamaica, children must be fully immunized before entry to school, and that is usually a part of mandatory school medicals due before the start of each academic year.
They have to present the immunization record at the health facility to confirm that the vaccines indeed have been done, and if they are missing any vaccines for whatever reason, then they are provided for them at the health facility.
The immunization record is part of the Child Health Development Passport introduced for every child in 2010 to replace the immunization cards used previously. As part of its public education initiative, the Ministry of Health displays posters and other material at health centers and schools, reminding parents and caregivers about the immunization schedules, showing what vaccine is due and when. Disease surveillance is also practiced at ports of entry to combat the country's increased susceptibility to new diseases due to globalization and increased travel. Across the board, government is on a mission to improve the health of the nation by making traditional vaccines available and exploring new and non-traditional vaccines to tackle other diseases.
For example, the mitigation of NCDs like some cancers, which can be prevented through vaccination, such as the vaccine for the human papilloma virus, which causes cervical cancer, falls in line with the Ministry of Health strategic plan to improve the offering to the public. And the commitment today is that we will work to ensure that other vaccines on the market with a proven track record are introduced as part of our routine administration to our population.
Sweet Jamaica, we not left ya. Chop yam and banana, we not left ya.
Finger-licking jerk chicken, Helcher fish and bami, we run down yam and banana, roast breadfruit, sweet potato pudding. Jamaica food sweet. So let's make a pledge to use more local produce and less foreign goods. Let's grow what we eat and eat what we grow.
Sweet Jamaica, we not left ya.
Using the land and the material in our environment to provide for our need is an important aspect of our sustainable development as a country. Residents in bauxite mining communities have been progressive along this line, putting to use mined-out bauxite lands to grow some of the foods that we eat, using greenhouse technology that significantly increased their yields. Take a look.
Bauxite mining is a profitable venture for Jamaica and other countries, but the effect on the land can be rough. Locally, steps are being taken to restore mined-out lands to productive and profitable use. The mining communities of Watt-Town and Tobolski in Water Valley St. Anne are shining examples of the possibilities. Scores of farmers there have been benefiting from water harvesting and greenhouse technology, allowing them to earn from the land.
I feel very good, and especially when we are reaping.
Yeah, feel good about it and thing, you know.
The citizens who have formed themselves into groups are setting the trend for other communities to follow. Communities like those that will benefit when Transport and Mining Minister Mike Henry fast-tracks the transfer of ownership of mined lands to citizens for housing, agriculture, and other purposes.
I'm going to see how much I can step in to work very closely to ensure the handing over back of land, the handing over back of titles, and how that can relate to increasing the agricultural output in relation to it.
That policy is encouraged by the level of agricultural production at Watt-Town and Tobolski.
The people who are buying are happy with the product because the reliability is so important.
The farmers have been supplying the hotel and supermarket retail sectors and are overjoyed at what they have been able to achieve on mined lands which were previously idle.
This is an opportunity for all of us here in this community because we have never seen anything like this before. We produce tomato and sweet pepper and we are doing well.
When you compare it to outdoor farming, this is actually a lot more than outside. Most of the young people want to come in now, so we would like some more rows to put up.
Mining pits on the properties have been transformed into rainwater harvesting ponds, which provide a reliable supply of water for the plants in the greenhouses. Over 8,000 kilograms of produce were supplied in the first 4 months of the project at Watt-Town.
I want to tell you that we have 20 farmers that is benefit from this greenhouse. 20 farmers. And right now we are having a lot of tomato and sale. For now we have at least almost 17,000 pounds of tomato supplied. Well, the pepper, as you see it, we have order for the pepper, but it's only ripe pepper they are taking now.
Similar initiatives are also established at other communities affected by bauxite mining, including Schwallenberg and 9 Miles in St. Anne, Content, Blue Mountain and Rose Hill, Manchester, and Myersville in St. Elizabeth. They have all been supported financially and technically at an overall project cost of $243 million through the Jamaica Social Investment Fund's Rural Economic Development Initiative at the Jamaica Bauxite Institute.
I am very pleased to see that even though farmlands have been used for bauxite mining, a way out has been provided for the farmers.
Beneficiaries of restored bauxite lands are encouraged to make the best productive use of their properties. And with major developments in transportation on the horizon, the Transport and Mining Minister says farming on these lands will get more lucrative with easier access to rail, road, and air cargo transportation.
So what I want you to appreciate is the vision that I'm seeking to bring in the connectivity of farming, transport, and reaching there.
Supporting sustainable development of communities on lands which have been mined, promoting self-sustainability and integrating mined-out areas in national development.
On the board this week, the public is being advised that effective Monday, July 3, the Montego Bay Parish Office of the Ministry of Labour and Social Security will be temporarily relocated to 3 Cottage Road in Montego Bay. This temporary relocation will last for 9 months to facilitate infrastructural repairs at the existing location, 4 Sam Sharp Square. Telephone numbers remain the same and all services will be accessible to the public. For further information, Persons may contact the ministry at any of the listed numbers provided or by email at mlssprunit@gmail.com. The Electoral Office of Jamaica EOJ wishes to advise the public that elector registration identification cards for electors added to the May 31, 2017 voters list are now available. ID cards must be collected by electors at their respective EOJ constituency office. All current elector registration ID cards are valid until December 31, 2017. The ECJ will commence a house-to-house enumeration exercise this financial year to create a new voters list and new cards. The Jamaica Cultural Development Commission JCDC Kingston and St Andrew Parish Office Big Stage auditions continue on Friday, July 7 at Trenchtown Community Centre, then on Saturday, July 8 at Standpipe Turf Ligony, and on Saturday, July 15 at the Duhaney Park Community Centre. Jamaicans aged 18 years and older, if you think you have talent, whether dance, singing, DJ, stand-up comedy, novelty acts, magic or conjuring, signing and miming, the Big Stage competition is waiting for you. Access entry forms and more detail at www.jcdc.gov.jm, JCDC social media pages, or its head office, 3-5 Phoenix Avenue, Kingston, or the Kingston and St Andrew Parish Office, 36 Hope Road, Kingston 10. Telephone 960-7725. And that's all for our community notices today. Send us your events for broadcast on the JIS Community Notice Board. Call 922-868022 or send an email to cbishop@jis.gov.jm.
Nominations are now open for the 2017 Prime Minister's Youth Awards for Excellence. Persons 15 to 29 years old may apply and be recognized for their work in 11 exciting categories. There's also a Jamaica 55 commemorative category for youth engaged in community-based volunteerism. Access nomination forms by visiting moey.gov.jm, youthjamaica.com, or any youth information center across the island. Nominations close August 31.
Next, some of the stories making news this week.
Hi there, I'm Simone Wolf with your JIS News of the Week. Jamaica is now a signatory to the agreement establishing the Caribbean Center for Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency. Prime Minister Andrew Holness signed the agreement this week as he participated in the 38th regular meeting of the Conference of the Heads of Government of CARICOM. On Monday, National Security Minister Robert Montego handed over 30 vehicles to the Jamaica Constabulary Force. They are to be deployed across the island to increase the mobility of the force and enhance the police's capacity to cut down on the movement of guns across the island.
Too much of our criminals are moving from parish to parish, division to division too freely. The increased mobility of the police will act as a force multiplier, where more and more of our police officers will be able to go further and further into the communities to increase their presence and also to dominate space, to help with vehicle checkpoints, and to begin to drive the criminal elements and to take control of our public spaces and our roadways.
Meanwhile, it was reported this week that Jamaica has maintained its Tier 2 ranking in the 2017 Trafficking in Persons report. Released recently by the U.S. Department of State, the report cites a number of measures by the government to stem the practice. The Ministry of Education has signed a $3 million grant agreement with the United States Agency for International Development, USAID, to support the Safety and Security in Schools project. It will be coordinated by the National Education Trust over the next 2 years.
And we look forward through the National Education Trust, as you spearhead the management of this project with the partnership with our ministry, that this will be a worthwhile engagement and that we will be able to lessen some of the challenges that we are having in schools.
A project to replace 105,000 high-pressure sodium streetlights with smart LED lights was officially launched in Montego Bay recently. Its aim is to reduce by 30% the current cost of energy for street lighting across the country. 25,000 of the lights, which can be remotely controlled and monitored, will be installed for 2017 in the high-density areas of Kingston, St. James, St. Catherine, Westmoreland, Trelawney and St. Anne.
It has the potential to house cameras. In fact, it can even be used to facilitate a mobile network service. That is the potential of implementing such a smart device in our township. And so, government will be looking to ensure that we utilize the full potential of smart technology.
Citizens of the Hagley Park Road area of southwest St. Andrew and its environs are celebrating the opening of their fully renovated health center. The Type 3 Health Center was renovated at a cost of $42 million with financing by the National Health Fund. It's the third to be completed over the past 12 months in the Southeast Health region.
It is what we want to do to take primary health care to communities like this one across the country. I want to commend the work that has been done. It's a lovely facility. It has increased your drug serve so you can get medication more promptly, and that's important because waiting time is a challenge in the system, and we're trying to correct that by offering more options.
The Housing Agency of Jamaica has presented 3 of its beneficiaries with titles for house lots at its Boscobel View scheme during a recent handing over ceremony. Students and staff of the Breadnut Valley Primary School are now in more comfortable settings thanks to a well-needed infrastructure upgrade.
The project has achieved its objective of providing the school community with a safe and secure teaching and learning environment.
And finally, 400 farmers and their households are benefiting from an industrial well pump which was commissioned at the Plumwood Station in New Forest, Manchester recently.
Without water, we cannot hope to grow the agricultural sector in a meaningful and sustainable way. And the commissioning of this pump and irrigation system will ensure that farmers in the area have greater access to a consistent supply of water.
And those were some of the stories making news this week. I'm Simone Wolf.
When criminals disagree, they seek revenge. Murder, arson, rape, whatever causes terrible suffering. It doesn't matter who gets hurt. Women, children, and the elderly, they are the main targets. Don't support the criminals. Don't cover up for them. Don't take their money. Take a stand now for the right of our women and children to be free from fear and abuse. Silence brings violence.
A message from the Ministry of National Security.
And that brings us to the end of today's edition of Jamaica Magazine. Join us again tomorrow when we'll do this all over again. Until then, you can click online at jis.gov.jm and visit our YouTube channel to get the latest government information. Also, follow us on Twitter and Facebook and download our app from the Google Play Store to stay informed. I am Adrian Atkinson, wishing for you peace and prosperity. Take care of your health, exercise, eat well, get adequate rest, and make every day a productive one.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.